In this class, we are going to understand another feature of object-oriented programming, that is polymorphism. So polymorphism is one of the main feature of OOP. Okay, so we understand in detail about this particular thing. Poly is a Greek term that means many, and morphism means forms or what behaviors. Okay, so polymorphism have two words in it actually. The first word is poly. Poly means what? Many, and morphism means what? Forms or what? Behaviors. So one thing having many forms or behaviors is called what? Polymorphism. Okay, what is that one thing? That one thing can be a variable, or it can be an object, or it can be a method. So I can say that polymorphism is the ability of a variable or object or method to take more than one form based on the context or what situation. So based upon the situation, this variable or object or method will have what? Different forms or different behaviors. Okay, so how it will be, let us understand with the help of an example. Okay, so let us understand. Suppose, for example, there is a person called, there is a person, let's say that some X person is there. Okay, this X person have different forms or different behaviors. Okay, for example, let's say that he may be a let me say that he may be a customer when he go to a shop. Okay, so he may be a teacher. Okay, he may be a teacher when he is teaching in the school. Okay, so let's say that when he is in the a house, his behavior is like a father behavior. Okay, so the same person, X person, is having different behaviors, like he is acting like a customer when he is visiting a shop, and this X person is now behaving like a teacher when he is teaching in the class, and this particular person is acting like a father when he is in the house with the children. Okay, so like this, when this is what? A single person having what? Different forms, therefore we can say it is a polymorphic behavior. Okay, polymorphism behavior or polymorphic behavior, what we call as. Okay, so like this, one person having many behaviors is what? Polymorphism. Okay, similarly in programming languages like object oriented programming, okay, a variable, or let me say that a method or object may have what? Different behaviors. Okay, for example, we will take methods only. So here we are going to understand on methods here. Okay, so a method, if you take a method, for example, there is a method called as sum method is there. This sum method can have what? Different behaviors, let's say that like this have different behaviors. One is add two integers. Okay, add three integers. Okay, add two double values. Okay, two double values. Like this, the same function name is having what? Different behaviors. See, adding the two integers, three integers, and what? Two double values. So one method is having many behaviors, many forms, therefore this is called as polymorphism. And one of the example of polymorphism is method overloading. So this concept is called as, it is example of what? Method overloading. Method overloading. Is that clear? So let me explain this particular thing. So same method is having what? Different behaviors. Okay, so this is what what we call as polymorphism, and one of the example of polymorphism is method overloading. So let's continue here. So polymorphism is the ability to use a method in multiple forms. Okay, so therefore I am going to use this particular method. In first form is adding the two numbers. I am going to use the same method name to add three numbers. This is another form. The same method I am going to use to add the two double values. Okay, so like this, polymorphism is the ability to use a method in multiple forms. Okay, this means that the same method name can have different behaviors in different contexts. Okay, right. Polymorphism is of two types actually, that is compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Example of compile time polymorphism is method overloading. Runtime polymorphism example is what? Method overriding. So method overloading and method overriding are the examples of polymorphism. Okay, so excuse me. So first of all, we are going to understand method overloading. So method overloading is nothing but what? Compile time polymorphism. Okay, now what is this method overloading? Methods have same names with different signatures is what? Method overloading. Okay. So what do you mean by the signature? Let us understand here. Okay, what is the signature? Suppose I write here the method, let's say sum of, okay, integer x and integer y is there. Okay, this is one method, assume. Okay, and what do you mean by this particular thing? This part of the method is called as what? Signature of method. Okay, this is called as what? Signature of method. Okay, signature of method. So what does the signature include actually? What does the signature include? Okay, the signature contains what? Two things. Okay, two things. Number one, okay, number of arguments. Okay, what is the number of arguments? What we call as number of arguments. Okay, the number of arguments are what we call as parameters. Also, we can say, please. Okay, parameters. Number of arguments are parameters. Okay, how many are there? Two is there. Two. That is what? X comma y. Okay, two parameters. Okay, fine. Now, what is mean by another one? The second one is what? Data types of arguments. Okay, data types of arguments. Okay, arguments, data types of arguments. So what are these data types of arguments here? If you take in this particular thing, integer and integer are the data types of the argument. So integer and what? Integer are the data types of arguments. Okay, so therefore what happens is, okay, therefore what is happening here, it is like this 2 comes under, okay, this 2, let's say that this 2 comes under number of arguments, and data type of arguments is called as what? Signature of method. Signature of method. Okay, so this is what happens with the signature of method. Okay, so what it is saying here, it is methods have same names with the different signatures is what? Method overloading. Okay, methods have same names with the different signature is called as method overloading. Okay, for example, let us consider, if I'll take a class here, this is a class A. Okay, see, this is a method sum integer x integer y. This is what? One signature. And if you take the same method name, I am taking here same method name, but what? Different signature, because this is 3 arguments. Okay, 2 arguments method. This is what? 3 arguments method. Therefore the signatures are different. Therefore these methods can have same name. Means these 2 method names are what? Overloading here. So overloading means here simply we can say that multiple methods can have common name, but the rule is the signature should be different. Okay, and one more method also I am taking here, that is sum method with double x and double y. So with this method, if you compare, this method is 2 arguments, this method is also 2 arguments, but difference in what? Data type. Okay, difference in data type. Therefore now this is also valid statement. Okay, so this method signature, this method signature, this method signatures are different but having what? Common name, and this particular concept is known as what? Method overloading. That is what. Okay, methods have same names with different signatures is method overloading. Okay, this method overloading can occur in the same class or what? Inheritance. See here it is occurring in the same class. Okay, or it can also occur in the inheritance, that we will discuss now. Okay, so first of all we understand this one, method overloading in a same class. So here in the A class contains what? 3 methods having same name with different signatures. Now if you take in the main, I am creating an object of the A class. Okay, I am creating an object of A class, and I am creating 3 variables ABC with 10, 20, 30, and D1 and D2 with what? 2.2 and 3.3. So now depending upon the situation, different methods will be executed. See, so ob dot I am calling sum of A comma B. So what is the situation here? That is sum with 2 arguments it should call. Therefore it is going to call the sum with what? 2 arguments, that to be A and B. A and B belongs to what? Integer. So sum with integer A, integer parameter will be called like this. Calls sum method with what? Integer, and integer will be called. Means let me tell you that means what happens, let me tell you here. For this method it is now going to call this particular, okay, this particular method is going to call. So A and B values 10 and 20 are passed to X and Y. It prints on the monitor sum of integer is equal to 10 plus 20, 30. Okay, Similarly, now ob dot I can say sum of a comma b comma c. So now the same sum method with different arguments now we are passing like a, b, c. Therefore, sum with what? 3 arguments it is going to call, like the sum with integer, 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 because a, b, c are integers. So sum with 3 integer arguments will be called. Therefore, this method will be what? Called now. Okay, and a, b, c are passed to what? X, y, z parameters, and it will calculate and prints on the monitor. Clear? Now, similarly, now if you take this particular method, this method is going to call again different method. Okay, so sum is the same method name, but with different arguments we are giving now. This is d1 is double, d2 is also what? Double here. So therefore, this method is going to call sum with double arguments. Therefore, this method is going to call, so this statement is going to call this particular method where d1, d2 pass it to x and y, and will calculate and prints on the monitor. Okay, so here what is happening is same method name is having different behaviors or not, different forms or not. Yes, it is adding 2 integers. This statement is adding 2 integers, this is adding 3 integers, this is adding what? 2 double values. Like this, a method having different forms in different situations, this concept is called as what? Polymorphism. Okay, right. And this polymorphism, right, one of the example of polymorphism is what? Method overloading. What is the first example of polymorphism? Is method overloading. Okay, so I repeat once again. So a class can have, okay, a class can have 2 or more methods same name, provided their signature should be different, and this concept is known as method overloading. Okay, so let us execute this program and see the output what you are getting. Right, Control C, and I'll paste in the Eclipse, and let me show you the output. Okay, so I run the program. See, when I run the program, you can see that sum of integers 30, sum of 3 integers 60, sum of 2 double values is what? 5.5. Okay, so this is what the thing. Now this is what we understood, method overloading in the same class. Okay, same class. So let me get back here. Let me okay, sorry. Okay, so let me go back to this particular thing, and here I am going to cancel these lines. Okay, right. Now we are going to understand what method overriding. Okay, method overriding. So what do you mean by this method overriding? Okay, this is another example of polymorphism, which is called as what? Runtime polymorphism. Okay, so sorry, I missed this one. Okay, second one, method overloading in what? Inheritance. Method overloading in inheritance. So in inheritance, how we are going to apply? Okay, so let's say this class is having a method sum with 2 integer arguments. Okay, now if you take the class B extends from what? A, means B is created from what? A. So here A is the parent class and B is the child class. This is actually the inheritance concept we are going to understand the next class. Okay, so B extends from A. Now I am writing the method, different method I am writing. See here, same method name. See, the parent class contains, okay, sum, and the child also contains what? Sum. Okay, but sum with 2 arguments, and here we are writing sum with what? 3 arguments I am writing. Okay, and this is also called as, okay, this is also called as method overloading. This is also called as what? Method overloading. Okay, method overloading. Clear, right? So method overloading either can occur in the same class, or it can occur in what? The inheritance. Okay, this is. Now if you see here, I am creating an object of the B class. Okay, B class object I am creating over here, and using that B class object I am calling sum of a comma b, means 2 arguments method will be called here. Okay, and ob dot sum of a comma b comma c, it is going to call 3 arguments method. Now see, the same sum method is having what? Different behaviors. Okay, so like this, what happens here? It is like this. What is happening here? It is we have okay, that is what method overloading can occur either in the same class, or it can occur in the different classes of inheritance. Different classes of what? Inheritance it can occur. Okay, so this is what happens with the method. Let me say that method overloading. Okay, so let me erase this particular thing. Fine. Okay, fine. Okay, good. Now the another one that we are going to understand, that is called as what? Second one, method overriding. Okay, method overriding. This is another example of polymorphism, which is called as runtime polymorphism. Okay. Now what happens in this case here? Here it is. Methods have, okay, methods have same names with the same signatures is method overloading. So methods should have what? Same signatures, which is called as what? Method overriding. Method overriding. So but method overriding occur only in inheritance. Okay, it occur in a inheritance only. Okay. Example, if you consider, see, this class A contains what? Some method. See, this is some method with two arguments. Okay, integer x and integer y. Now when we come to the B class, which is extending from A, inheritance, okay, this B class is also having same method with the same signature. This is having, see, same signature, and therefore this is called as overriding method of the A class. Okay, so this method is the overriding method of the A sum method. Okay, A class sum method. Okay, this is called as overriding. So I repeat here, please. Okay, so this is what we call as method overriding, please. This is called as method overriding. Okay, overriding. This is what overriding. Okay, overriding, please. This is what method overriding. Clear? So this is what. So methods have same see, same names with what? Same signatures we are having. Same signatures we are having, and this is called as method overriding. Okay. So let us understand how it can be. Okay, let us understand, please. Okay, fine. Let us go with this one. Okay, please. Now see, I am creating an object of. I am creating an object of what? I am creating an object of what? A class. So here I am creating an object of A class. Okay. So let me change this particular. Okay. So right, fine, but why it is taken? No problem, right? So therefore this is what this is what I'm creating an object of what? A class, and using this particular A class object, okay, I'm calling ob dot sum of A comma B. What is this sum of A comma B means? Let us say that okay, here. So what is ob1 dot sum of A comma B? Okay, sum of A comma B means it is going to call the method present in what? A class. See, two arguments method is going to call. This is the method is going to call. Okay, now I create an object of B class, please. The B class, the child class object I am creating, and assigns to what? A class. Assigns to what? A class. Yes, it is allowed. Okay, that the parent class or reference variable can store the child class object, which is allowed. Okay, which is allowed. Now if you say same ob2 dot sum, same sum method we are calling now, but what happens here? It is okay, now it is going to call the method present in what? B class is going to call now. See, the same, now it's going to call the B class method. Okay, so this is what happens here. It is, so now this is calling, this statement is calling this method, and this statement is calling what? This method. So here the same method names, but they are having what? Different behaviors. Therefore this is also called as what? Polymorphism. But this is a runtime polymorphism, and we understand in depth of this particular concept when we come to the inheritance chapter. Okay, so just understand here about this polymorphism, like compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Okay, so this is the two best examples that I have given. Okay,